Hey, what's happening, everybody? Spooky here, back with another video. It's not even cold out, but my hair just looks so ridiculous right now that I decided to wear a hat. So anyway, as you can tell by the title of the video, we're helping out Ryan again in this free coaching session. So we're going to be going over four hands, and the thing about Ryan is he's actually improved a lot. I can already tell. He's doing a lot of things like way better than when we first started. But he still has a lot of room to improve, and that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm trying to kind of bridge the gap between where he could be and where he is right now. As you're going to see in this video, we're going to be going over these four hands. He's getting a lot more aggressive, which is good. I like to see him like 3-betting more pre-flop, but then he gets into some weird situations post-flop where he's not sure what to do. So if you find that you end up in those same spots, this might be the video that you might be looking for. Might help you out a lot. The next thing is I'm actually going to start opening it up for coaching. So I'm going to be taking on 4 new students starting today. And Ryan's probably going to be one of those students. So more like I'm going to be taking on 3 students. And also my prices are really cheap right now compared to other programs. So just keep that in mind. You know, if you're considering wanting to make more money playing poker, move up in stakes, or you just feel like you've got some holes in your game, consider checking out my program. At some point, my prices are going to go up because I'm still a tiny YouTube channel, and I'm just starting out this business. So this is basically the cheapest the prices are ever going to be. So if you want to check out the prices, go to spookypoker.com/coaching, or you can just check the link in the description right below. I'll leave a link there. And I wanted to really quickly just show you what Ryan had to say about my free coaching that I've given him. Well, I guess I should ask you, like, as someone in your position, just like a micros grinder trying to get better, what do you think is like a good value for coaching sessions? Like, what is something that you think is like worth your money? Just be completely honest. If it's $10 or if it's like, would you be willing to pay 20, 25? Like, just completely honest.
Like whenever I tutor, like, because I tutor people for math,
Right.
like usually I don't charge, unless I know the person, any less than $25 an hour, and
Right.
that's for math. So for this, it's much more niche and specific. So like,
And it's also money involved.
I could see you charging like between 25 and 50 easily. Maybe when there's more, like when you've done it more, maybe higher, or
Right.
But
Well, okay. Well, thank you for the answer. So once again, if you want to check out the prices or just see what I have to offer in general, I also have a discount available there on the sales page. But if you want to, just go to spookypoker.com/coaching, or once again, the link will be in the description below. That's it for the selling. No more selling. This video is going to be like pure helpful information. So I did want to get the message out about my coaching, but like I said, that's it. I'm not going to be like spamming it or anything. So enjoy the video, and please drop a like if you gained some helpful information out of it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I don't know why I did that. Peace. Hey, what's up, man?
what's going on?
Hey, my bad about today. I overslept really bad.
Oh, you're good.
Um,
You hear this all right?
yeah, everything's good. Everything's good. All right. Do you want to start off with general questions, or do you want to just look at the hands?
Um, I just have a few questions. Like, I haven't gotten Poker Tracker yet, but I'm about to buy that. So I was just gonna ask you, what HUD stats should I be like looking for when I set that up, and like what should be like a trigger? Like when I see something, like what's a good HUD stat to know someone's a fish?
Yeah. So I think there's a default cache setting that's actually pretty good. It's basically the same one I use. So as soon as you fire it up and you start running cache games, then you'll be mostly good to go. But there's a few extras that I would say you want to put on there, which I'll eventually make a video on this, and it'll just be on my channel. But for now, I'll just tell you directly. I'm trying to think. I'm actually just gonna pull it up. One of them is gonna be fold to 3-bet, which is a pre-flop stat, which You can probably figure out how to get that on there, but you might need to watch a tutorial to see how to add stats to Poker Tracker just because you haven't used it before, right? Have you used it?
Oh no, I haven't got it yet. I'm about to buy it probably this week.
Right.
So,
Okay. Well, I mean, because I think there's a free trial, so I wasn't sure if you'd used it or not. There's like a 7-day free trial or something.
I'm waiting because I'm gonna switch to ACR because apparently Bet Online doesn't let you use HUDs at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, I'll just do it all at the same time when I deposit into ACR and get all that set up. So I was just waiting to do all that.
Gotcha. Okay, so one of them is fold to 3-bet. One of them is fold to steal. And fold to steal is how often someone will defend their big blind. So, like just for example, if we're on the button and someone has a really high fold to steal, we just want to open a lot of hands. Did you watch my video about nits, the 5-0 masterclass?
I started it, but I didn't watch it all the way through.
Okay.
I switched to your I think I was yesterday, and I switched to the mindset changing one. So
Wait, say it again. Sorry, you said you switched to.
I was in the middle of that one, and then I saw the mindset one and changed videos.
Oh, okay. I got what you're saying. No, all good. They're all useful. Okay, so I'm pulling up my Poker Tracker right now. So I've got fold to steal, fold to 3-bet, fold to C-bet. Yeah, so the default one for cash is pretty decent, and then just adding those two, like I said. There's definitely more, but they're on my other computer. But I'll make a video probably tomorrow and go over everything for you. But just so those are the extra ones, and then to address your original question, so fold to C-bet is like a one that we're gonna take advantage of a lot, because eventually what I'm gonna have you do is be like loose aggressive. That's like being loose aggressive is, if you can effectively be loose aggressive, that's the best way to beat the micro, probably poker in general, because like what we were talking about last time, which is just like it's so hard to play against people who have like this really wide range and they're really aggressive. Like I don't know if you remember that part of our conversation, but I was just like, dude, I don't even know what to tell you because these players are really hard to play against. And that's eventually what I want you to be able to do, and that's how I play, which is just like I'm actually gonna like probably release some of my hands here pretty soon, but it's just like, oh man, I've been crushing it, because loose aggressive is just like, it's so much fun when you just like outsmart people so bad. But so another one is gonna be pre-flop raise, which is another just standard stat that comes with the standard cash game HUD. And so your question was, how do we identify if they're a fish? If their pre-flop raise is like under, okay, well there's two ways to look at it. One is going to be they're a fish because they're too loose, and one of them is going to be a fish because they're too tight. So if they're too tight, their pre-flop raise is going to be like under 10, and if that's the case, like the closer it gets to 0, the more exploitable they are, because you just know that they're only opening, aces, kings, ace, king, queens. And we can take advantage of that by just like set mining or playing really, really tight against them, and they don't get like value out of us. And then if someone is like really, if their pre-flop raise is like in the micros, like over 15 might be starting to get pretty exploitable, but definitely over 20. If their pre-flop raise is like over 20, and then their fold to 3-bet is like 50% and up, then we just 3-bet them a lot. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. So just yeah. So those stats. Yeah, I do need those stats.
Yeah,
That would make the game so much easier
dude.
if.
Exact. No, I
Yeah.
like what you be as a online poker player. You kind of just become this like. I don't know if this is like the right like statistician. Is that like a profession or something? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like you just analyze stats and then you kind of like run it through this poker filter and then you just play accordingly. Like I think that's just what the best poker players do. But yeah, like for a very long time, in terms of like moving up stakes online, I'm pretty sure you can probably get to like 1-2, maybe even higher, probably about 1-2. I'm guessing without like having to be that good at poker. All you have to do is like be able to analyze stats and then just like play accordingly. That's a guess. I haven't made it up to 1-2 yet. I've only made it up to 15L on ACR, but I'm just guessing that just being good at using Poker Tracker is going to get you really far.
Alright. Yeah, I'll definitely have to make the switch. I didn't realize there was all those little ones too. I was
Oh
thinking just
yeah.
like VPIP and opening like open. Yeah, I didn't realize it was like fold to 3-bet, fold to C-bet. So yeah, that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. Why you've been trying to push me to go that direction.
Oh yeah. And then I guess we'll address VPIP real quick. If VP is like, I'm gonna say if it's over 30, they're definitely just like really loose. Cause at micros, like, people are generally pretty nitty. So if they're over 30, they're either it's either people like me, which is very rare, or it's just like loose fish, which means you can just like it gets kind of complicated. It's not as simple as, I mean, you're gonna have to develop your own strategy for that until I release a video about it. But generally speaking, loose fish, if they call down a lot, then you can value bet lighter, because obviously they're calling with a wide range of hands. But also they play back at you sometimes, so that's why I say you have to kind of develop your own strategy as you go. But they are very exploitable if they're really loose, but it's definitely harder to beat them than the nits without like monsters, because nits will just fold to everything. But I'll make videos about all this shit as time goes on. But I think what you should do is study my nit video, the masterclass video I made, and that will give you a really good idea of like how to start thinking about this. And yeah, I mean, it makes more sense for you to worry about the nits than it makes than the loose people, because I'm sure you have some sort of intuition on how to beat really loose people already. I'm sure you have some sort of strategy, which is probably fine. And then yeah, just worry about the nits, because that's going to be like so much more of the population. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give that after this. I'll watch that video.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if you. Yeah, I think you'll probably want to watch it once just to like kind of soak it in a little bit, and then maybe like again tomorrow or the day after, or whenever you get Poker Tracker, then watch it again, and you'll pick up some new things, I'm sure. But probably just want to watch it a few times through, because there's a lot of information, and you can probably watch it a few times, and every time you'll probably get something a little bit different. So, were there any other like initial questions?
I think that's it as far as like general questions. I just wanted to know that for when I get it all set up and ready to go, what to start with.
Okay, I'll just give you the most important ones are going to be probably. I guess they're all important. So let me think about the most important ones. Oh man, it's actually, they're all important for a lot of different reasons. I guess VPIP is going to be like one of the most important ones, just because you're going to have to know how to adjust your range accordingly, like pre-flop. Yeah, unfortunately, they're all important. I can't just give you like one or two or something. So, yeah, I mean, you'll have like plenty of questions moving forward, and we'll talk about that next session. So, I'm gonna pull up some hands. All right. Okay. I'm generally on board with 3-betting here. Do we have any notes about more or less?
No notes on him. Yeah, no. Actually, at this table, we don't have notes on anybody. Lately, I've noticed that it's kind of harder to. They're offering less tables. It looks like. I don't know if tables are just filling and they're offering less tables, but.
Okay. Okay. How do people usually react to 3-bets on this site?
It's been working out for me because you told me to 3-bet more, so I feel like I've been taking down more pots early.
Yeah.
So I like sometimes I'll take down more pots, and then sometimes I'll get people to call me off with nothing. But it seems like 3-bettings have been working, like increasing my 3-bet range, especially on like the button, and I feel like out of position because I feel like I was flat flung a lot in the small blind.
Right.
So 3-betting in the small blind I've seen results now. Like last week was kind of terrible, or 2 weeks ago was bad, but this past week I feel like it's been like because I guess going in with the betting lead, if I don't have position, has been useful.
Right. Yeah, I learned that from studying Doug Polk's like his advice on his website. But he said like you should never be calling, like absolutely never, 0% calling from the small blind. And this isn't the high level games, so you can probably get away with it at low level games like ours, but like to be like not exploitable, you have to 3-bet or fold from the small blind. So that doesn't mean you have to do it, but it's just like the most sound poker theory is that you're always 3-betting from the small blind if you're playing.
Which I've seen has been like held true. Like it seems, I feel like from the small blind, I've been taking down way more pots pre-flop and post-flop.
Right. Because if you're like, for example, like let's say you don't play this hand, but flat with aces has like your hand ace-6 suited or something, he might be tempted to call here, but like more or less, you know, in late position, people will open up anything like Jack-10 offsuit, Queen-Jack offsuit. If I have ace-6 suited in the small blind and I think more or less is opening too much, I'll 3-bet to like $1.20 here. And Queen-Jack offsuit just looks so bad in a 3-bet pot. Like you just have no clue where you're at. And so for that reason, it's like if you 3-bet big from the small blind, it's like so effective. Which that's another note is like I don't know what your sizing is for 3-betting from the small blind, but if it's like I said, I do about 4x if it's just open to like 30 cents or whatever. All right. What range are you putting more or less on when you opens and calls?
Probably a pretty wide range. Definitely larger cards. Probably not aces or kings or probably not queens. Maybe ace king, but I feel like those would 4-bet most of the time. I feel like most people would 4-bet, especially a smaller 3-bet, because I only raised it up to like 79 cents. It wasn't like super high.
Right.
So I'm thinking pairs, maybe some higher like king jack suited, queens or queen jack suited, king queen suit. It's like higher cards like that.
Yeah.
Maybe some pairs and
I agree with that. I agree with that range. So I think C betting for half pot. Let's see, what would I do? Yeah, I'd probably do the exact same thing. So I think C betting half pot is good. and he just flats. So if he flats, what do you think?
Um, this is where I kind of get a little lost because I have top pair here, but it's like a weak top pair.
Right.
So him flatting, he could have two overcards and thinks I'm just c betting. So because my c bet size wasn't too big,
Yeah.
it was just half pot. So I feel like most of his range is probably continuing there, and
Actually,
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
yeah. So I disagree with that. I think Queen Jack of Hearts is folding here. King Jack of Hearts, King Queen, all these hands are folding. Even Ace Queen offsuit is probably folding to that c bet, just because you're capable of already having a set. You're capable of already having two pair. Like your range is undefined, and this player isn't thinking about that consciously. This isn't going through their head, but subconsciously they're probably not calling with Ace Queen here, King Queen, things like that, unless it's of diamonds. That's my take. I mean, this guy might be a loose kind of player, and you might be right, but I'm thinking he's folding all of his Broadway cards that aren't suited. I would put him on something more like sevens, eights, nines. That's kind of where I put him at. But yeah, having no information on him, it's just hard to say. He could just have like random shit like 7-8. So those are all possible. But to me, it seems more like he's got like eights. That's kind of how I feel. And then he bets.
Yeah, so it goes check, check, and then he opens. So I'm thinking like bluffing. Could be bluffing the flush. I feel like the flush would have bet the turn, so I don't think he has a flush here. So I'm thinking he might be betting the flush.
What? Why do you think flush would bet the turn? What do you mean?
Because whenever, well, I guess that doesn't make sense because I'm thinking I'm in position. So I guess if he were in position, it would make sense to bet the turn, but he's out of position, so maybe. So that's flawed logic. Yeah, I guess that's just a flaw there. But he, I'm suspicious when he checked the turn because it goes check, check, and then he comes out for $1.60. So yeah, I think he's bluffing here, but that's what I was thinking.
So I agree because first of all, flushes are just so unlikely. It's like people love to bluff at flushes when they're in these kinds of pots. It's like they just try to outplay you. And so I'm with you here. $1.60 seems like, honestly, it seems like a Queen Jack fucking just betting just because I don't think pocket eights are comfortably value betting here. He could have. The only thing I could think is like ace 5 of clubs or just ace 5 in general that he's actually value betting with, but I think he's got a lot of bluffs in his range. I just don't think it just doesn't seem likely that like I said, like sevens, eights, nines, I don't think those are value betting here, so I would call personally, which I assume you do too. That's just a bad value bet by him. I'm trying. Yeah, so it's just a really bad value bet unless you have been playing like your hand face up lately. Like if he knows exactly how you play, then maybe this makes sense. But I think it was just a really bad value bet by him on the river, and it looked like a bluff because he played it so weird. So I don't mind the call. I really don't mind the play in general. The only thing I would consider is like I would consider shoving the river as a bluff, obviously, because he never has a full house here, or not never, but it's so rare that he has a full house or he has a flush here that we could consider shoving, but that. I wouldn't do that without information on the guy. Like, I don't know if he has the tendency to fold, but all in all, I think you played the hand fine. I think you have to c-bet the flop because he could have anything. He could have queen jack, so it's like you don't want to see a jack roll off. So I think you played that fine. I think three betting is okay. I would like to have a little bit more information on him before I just like three bet him and then try to define his range. But all in all, I think the hand was fine. I think it's like a profitable play because yes, pocket sevens happen to be in his range, and it's like one of the strongest hands in his range. But like we said, he could have king queen, ace queen, king jack, queen jack. He could have all these hands, and then we just like c-bet the flop and take it down, and it's a profitable play. So I think overall it's fine. And then he just made a really bad value bet on the river, like because you could have a flush, right? Flush draws will c-bet, and then they see like a scary turn card, and they'll just like check back. Okay, I hope I make my flush. And it's just like if he value bets sevens there, and he gets raised, he's like in such a bad spot. So it's like it's a very bad play by him, and I think you're right to call because it just doesn't make sense that he should be value betting here. So I think you played it pretty well.
Yeah. You say potentially not three betting that spot and potentially jamming instead of just calling on the river.
Right. Because right. And do you have any questions about that?
No, that makes sense. The whole not jamming thing is just because I had the top pair, so I was like,
right.
I could maybe bluff catch if he's bluffing, and if he's not bluffing, then he's probably got me beat. So
no, and that's a perfectly fine way to think, and it's just the more conservative style. But the thing is that when he value bets half pot, he absolutely never has a monster, and we still have monsters in our range. We have 6-5 here. We can have a straight here. We have pocket twos here, where it's like we check the turn back to be safe. we have pocket threes. We have all of these hands in our range where he just doesn't have them. So, but the thing is like, I don't know, stupid players like fucking more or less. He might not be able to fold sevens, and that's why I don't want to just jam without knowing what kind of player he is.
Right.
But that is definitely something that would go through my head. But like I said, I think the hand is mostly fine. So not too bad. A6 again. Okay, so that went too fast for me to see what happened. Okay, you raised in late position. I would say this is not an open. I would just fold A6 offsuit.
Alright.
Yeah. Unless did you check out? Yeah, you checked out the poker chart, right? The opening hands.
Yeah.
Is this an open?
A6 is in there. Here, I'm gonna open it up real fast.
It may be, but I personally would not do it. But if it's in the chart, then maybe it's a good open. Let me see if I have it on this computer. I think it's on my other computer.
You're right. It's from the cutoff. Ace 9 off should be the.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because I think it's close. It's not horrible, but I agree with that. Ace 9 seems like the end of my range there. But that's okay. It's not the worst thing of all time. And we get some folds. Also, another note, when you have Poker Tracker, when I'm looking, if I'm in your position here, I'm looking at Samson's VP. If he has a low VP, we can open up our opening range. Does that make sense? Because he's less likely to play, so we can open up our range a little bit more. And we can start playing these like slightly out of normal range hands. So if I knew that Samson was a super nit, then I would 100% open A6, but just generally that's not an open for me. Okay. So when he leads, what's going through your head?
I feel like he could maybe have any kind of suited cards because he's sitting in the big blind, so his range is probably pretty wide on what he's calling an open, just a first in open raise. So I feel like he could have a lots of different open hands. Probably he would probably bet with maybe a draw, like a flush draw. Bet with kind of maybe two strong overcards, maybe. But um, yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And what about pair hands? Do you think he's betting pair hands like 8-9 here?
Um, I guess he could be betting top pair. I'm thinking, yeah, he could definitely be betting top pair. Well,
I think hands like 7-8 and 6-8, 9-8, 9-10. I think these are more likely that he's going to be betting those, because people generally, if they have like queen jack of spades here, I think they generally want to just like check call. I think that's the tendency of people more often than leading out. Yeah, so I'm putting him on like 7-8 or 9-8. Probably not 9-8. 9-8 is probably calling, but it seems like 7-8 is like the kind of hand that would bet like this. So maybe like 7-8 of hearts or something. But to be honest, I would probably just fold, just because bottom pair is just so rarely good here. Because people who just donk bet, it's like at the very worst they have like jack 10 of spades, in my opinion. So even on like turns that, yeah, that's the problem, is like what turns do we want? We want a 6 or an ace that isn't a spade. And so there's just like, it's not clear moving forward what we even want the board to run out as. And it's for that reason that I would probably just fold this, but I think calling isn't like the worst thing ever. Because he could just have, I don't know, he could have like 6-10, 6-8. So then he bets, that's 88 into, so he bets kind of big. So what are you thinking now?
With him barreling, I'm kind of thrown off there, like barreling out of position with like weird sizes, because I feel like if he had like some kind of monster hand, he'd be playing a little trappier.
Right.
Just
I don't think he has a monster, but he could. I guess he could have pocket sevens.
So yeah, I'm just trying to continue, and I really don't. I guess he could have a draw and is just trying to get value out of try to fold me off before the draw comes out. Like, you know.
Right. So basically, what's going through his head right now is that since you didn't raise the flop, he thinks he knows exactly where you are, which happens to be correct, which is like the bottom of your range. So like when people lead out, you know, it's called donk betting, because it's like, you know that term, right? Donk betting.
I've heard. I mean.
Okay, so donk betting is like when you just bet into this person with the betting lead. And it's just like this weird, it's like, it's a weird bet. It's a donk bet. Like only donks make these kinds of bets, because what he's doing is he's saying like, I have a decent hand and I'm putting you to the test. But if you're playing a good player and you donk bet them, a lot of times they're just going to raise you and blow you off the hand, because no one donks bet with top set. You know, it's just like they always check raise or check call to trap. But so the point I'm making is that like people who donk bet, they're usually saying like my range is like fairly strong but not nutted. That's always what a donk bet is, pretty much. And so so when he bets the flop and you just call, and he bets the turn, he's basically gaining more confidence that you don't have a nutted hand. And to me, I would either start thinking about bluffing or just folded the flop unless I had a good amount of data on him. So when he bets again, he's just, to me, it's just saying like, now I know my hand is good. And then if you call again, then he's like 100% sure his hand is good. So this is a weird card though. So yeah, so he checks and then you bet. So tell me what you're thinking.
So when he checks, I was thinking that like if he's gonna barrel, I feel like if he was going for value, he would have barreled on the last, because I went call, so I feel like he would feel like I would call on the river if he tried to make a value bet of some sort. So when he checks his king, it seems weak that he goes bet out of position, bet out of position again, and then checks the river. And it also misses, like, let's say, like, I was thinking he was maybe bluffing with a flush draw, so then the flush draw's just missed. So that's where my line of thinking is going. So I'm betting, like, what is it, half pot, almost as a, like, I feel like I'm good here, but
well
I know I'm not. But
yeah. So like, first of all, if you think you're good, you shouldn't have to bluff, right? You got to think about that. If you think you're good, you should just check. So if he really does have, King Jack of Spades, you should definitely just be checking.
That's a habit I gotta break. I feel like sometimes that's something I'm working on now. Like what you said is, like, either bluffing or going for value. So this is one where I've messed up and I'm sticking, because I guess it makes sense. If I think I'm good, the only things that's calling this bet are
better
things
hands.
That are better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, that's the funny thing about poker is that, like, you can make these random bets and it's profitable a lot of the times because showing aggression is just profitable in poker. So it kind of it like conditions you to make these bets and you think it's a good thing. And yeah, generally you want to be more aggressive than not aggressive, but as you get better, you have to like really have good reasoning for what you're doing, obviously, so you know that. But just like to like finish the hand through though, in terms of like, so let's say we have something like that we really think we have value with. So let's say we have something like well, I guess maybe that's not the question to answer, or question to ask. Maybe the question to ask is like, what would he call with? Which is like, he's going to call with all of his straights. And okay, so this is actually the point I wanted to make. So if we're gonna bet this, it's because we're gonna bluff. And so if we're gonna bluff, we have to know what kind of hands we're trying to get him off of, which is going to be a lot of two pairs. Maybe even sets. Like he could have pocket sevens if he could have pocket sevens. Could have pocket sixes. I think like 9-8 is definitely in his range. 7-8 is definitely in his range. And then so these are his strong hands, and then his weak hands are obviously like big suited cards. So if we're gonna bet, we have to be able to get both of those ranges to fold, because right now all we're doing is getting like suited high cards to fold with this bet. Because even something like pocket jacks isn't gonna fold to this, which I guess, you know what, like pocket jacks are also in his range. Now that I think about it, but the thing is like, and I know you're learning, so I'm not like putting you down for this, but you have to think about, what am I trying to get him to fold? And like that's why we go through these exercises of like always having ranges, because I think you just kind of throw this bet out without thinking what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
But if I'm betting here, I'm thinking, what am I trying to get to fold? So it's like, if I don't think my 6 is good, I'm going to put him on 2 pair a lot of the time. And I'm going to be, if he has 2 pair, do you think he's going to fold 4 half pot?
Yeah, definitely not.
Definitely not. So what I would do is I would bet like $3 here if I was going to bluff, because I need pocket jacks to really think about folding. I would maybe bet $3.50, maybe even like over bet pot, because like you're trying to get these big hands to fold, and you're trying to say like, look, I have Jack 10, and so like I have the nuts. That's what you're trying to say. But like obviously you didn't think about that, and that's fine. I'm just letting you know what goes through my head. But as you know, betting half pot here with your hand is a mistake. So I think checking or over betting is probably the play. And I'm guessing he has like two. Okay, so top set. Wow. Yeah. So yeah, he's obviously never folding top set for half pot. I'm trying to think. Like, what do you think? What do you think about the hand?
I think that I know I played the hand bad, so that's why I sent it. But I think he also had like the top of his range too. So, like, I don't know if anything I would have done would have won me this particular hand, but I know like I knew there was things in there that were like my final bet, like we just went over, was not good. So that's why I sent it, because I knew I made mistakes. But as far as his pocket nines, like I don't know if. I'm still kind of thrown off by the pocket nines with opening. I feel like he immediately would have like. I feel like he would have on the flop check
Right.
raised, or check raised on the turn,
Right.
or check jammed on the river, especially with no flushes making it.
No,
Like,
no. You got to think about that. There's 4 to a straight. He would never jam for
yeah,
value.
you're right. Yeah, so yeah, I guess with the 8 going out, maybe that's why he slowed down then. So the 8 comes out.
That's
so
definitely
so
why
now
he slowed down. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Why he went bet, and then probably was going to go for value, but the 8 came out.
Right.
And he had to slow down. So that's where maybe jamming would have, or over betting would have.
Yeah. Like if I know he has top set, if I for some reason can see his cards and I know he has top set, yeah, I'll consider jamming. But like you said, this is the top of his range, absolute top of his range. Other than 9-10 or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead.
I was just, that makes a lot of sense after discussing it, why he played it the way he did. And then also I just paid him off on I could have checked and saved myself $1.40, or jammed and potentially, or over bet and potentially taking down the pot. So that makes a lot of sense why that river bet is.
Yeah, that was
weird.
That was definitely like the worst play of the hand, but I don't want you to forget what I said, which is I would have just folded the flop.
Right.
Because I would have I would have folded, but yeah, it's just like calling with the bottom. This is an important concept that you should remember. Calling with the bottom part of your range is not good. And it's just going to take you a lot of experience to understand that, like on a deeper level. But, generally speaking, calling, the purpose of calling is to, trap someone and gain value, or to try to hit a bigger hand. Because, like, if you're calling, you're saying, I think my hand is better than your hand. Or it has the equity to become better than your hand. That's what calling is. But that's why you don't call with the bottom part of your range, because it's just like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like something I know intuitively. I can't put it into words, but if you're just calling with the bottom part of your range, you're just saying, like, you're basically just free rolling people, unless you have like a good reason to think you're bluff catching. So I guess I'll have to think about that, and I can like give you better reasons, but just try to remember that. It's like when you have a weak hand and they're showing like strength, I don't know, like I would call with aces here, I would call with the top part of my range, but he's basically just saying he's got us beat on the flop. So this guy's probably a nit because he didn't 3-bet nines, and then he just like plays his nines like kind of scared in this hand. So this is just another reason that you should watch my masterclass video, because I talk about this I literally talk about this exact situation of like, if a nit bets into you and you have the bottom part of your range, you just let it go, and that's just like one of my principles for beating the micros.
Right.
So, you definitely want to watch that video. It would have saved you almost $3. All right, next one.
All right, so this one, as you can tell, is after I watched your your video on the mindset, because I have everything in big blinds now. But
Oh, nice. Yes.
so yeah, so backstory on this dude I have marked blue is like an absolute loose cannon. Like, is loose. He's like barreling with anything, and it's pretty much the more he raises, the worse his hand is. That's like how. Like, that's why all of the big blinds that I am holding right now are from this guy just loading it and topping off and loading it and topping off. So I play this hand like overly aggressive, but that's why, just to, because I think I'm getting value out of this guy.
Okay, good. I think the sizing is a little bit big, but not horrible. I would go about 4x. Because especially with a mediocre hand, if I have kings here, I'm not afraid of making a big pot, but when you make it like 4.5, it just starts bloating the pot, and we still only have king jack at the end of the day, and so that's a small adjustment, but one that I would make. Oh yeah. The big 3-bet. Wow, I'm just kind of flat calls a 3-bet.
Well, I mean, like, dude, that polyglot guy was literally like, just every hand was just rocking it off. So
Gotcha.
it was kind of, I don't know, it was, yeah.
Gotcha.
I guess it's.
So we flat. I don't think I would flat, to be honest. I think I would either get ready to 4-bet or fold because of the strength of our hand. Because this is one of those spots where like we hit our flop and we don't know if we're good. Like Lil Han or BP8 could both have pocket 8s or pocket 9s. We could just be dead. Polyglot could have king queen. I mean, obviously not, because obviously I should say probably not, because he's so wild. But yeah, just king jack in a 4-way pot on this board, someone could easily just have a set or a better king. And so for that reason, I don't like playing a four-handed pot with king jack offsuit. So like your thinking is good. Like you know that this guy's full of crap and you want to play pots with him, and that's all good. But you know the next level is that we have to be even more proactive, and so we need to either isolate by 4-betting or just folding, because I personally don't want to be in your spot right now. I am not comfortable with top pair here. So those guys check as okay. So we bet. I don't mind the bet. You know, if we're already in the hand, I think it's fine to bet. I'm really praying that these guys fold. I mean, I'm happy to see that. But, you know, here's the thing is like, even though it worked out, in the instance that these guys have ace king or king queen or pocket 8s or pocket 9s, we just barreled off 30 big blinds in this bloated ass pot, which is, you know, a third of a starting stack. It's like, it's a lot of big blinds. And we just did that just hoping that our king is good. And that's why I don't play these big pots with king jack offsuit, and, you know, because it's so damn big. If they folded, obviously it's a different thing to call, but when it's so damn big, I don't like being in this spot. So moving forward, good turn for us, generally speaking. So you put him all in. I think that's fine. I mean, what are you gonna do?
So I mean,
he called off, you know, half of his stack with a gutter, and he just hits it.
so is this other than so? And for this hand, you're saying pre-flop it should either be 4-bet or fold to isolate him specifically.
Yeah, because I think what happened on this hand is you didn't even consider what these two guys are having.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what happened, and you're just thinking about like big money. I'm gonna stack this guy, but it worked out this time. But like I said, these guys could have king nine suited. They could just have us absolutely destroyed. So yeah, you have to always. I guess the point is like you don't get too just like I said, it's good. Like you had a good thought process playing against Polyglot, but again, just the next level of thinking is you have to consider what the other guys have as well. So not horrible. And then yeah, so he just drills the gutter, which is too darn bad for us. But I mean, he's just such a losing player. It just sucks. But what are we gonna do? Do you have any other questions about the hand?
I guess it's kind of hard to avoid running into Queen Jack against this guy, but you were. I could just tell something about I wasn't playing something right in this hand, and I guess it makes sense that I need to be worrying about the other two people in the pile. So I like the tip you just said with the 4-bet or fold.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I should be doing more often there.
Yeah, because you can against someone like this guy who's just like loose cannon, like you can profitably 4-bet, and maybe even I would even consider just jamming on Polyglot pre-flop and forcing him to make a decision. Because as you said, he just 3-bets everything, always weak. Like King Jack is like a monster against him. So I wouldn't mind just jamming it because that way you don't have to play post flop. It's just like I'm just gonna put it in and like it's up to you, man.
Profitable just by probability.
Yeah. So I wouldn't mind a 4-bet jam here, especially after these two call. It becomes more profitable to jam because you've got all this dead money. And you still have, like, your hand still looks like a monster because it's like, you haven't done anything suspicious in this hand. All you did is raise, and then he 3-bet, and then you just jammed, which, that's probably how queens play. Kings might play this way. Probably not kings, but, like, ace-king plays this way. And so, I really wouldn't mind a jam pre-flop. I think that's probably what I would do in this hand. I would jam or I would fold, but I would not call.
Alright.
And then post flop. On the flop, I'm trying to think if so I think when it comes to the flop, it's like we're already in the hand, so we have to go with it because there's just so much money in the pot. I think we just have to go with it on the flop. So I think betting the flop is fine. You bet like 30 big blinds, I think.
Yeah, so is that sizing, like half pot sizing?
Yeah, I think it's fine. Because actually, I might bet even bigger. I might bet huge because we really don't want Jack 10 calling here, because we don't want to get drawn out on. We don't want. Yeah, the thing is like once we get to the flop, we're already committed to the hand and we have top pair. It's like are we gonna fold? Probably not. So it's like we're just gonna go with it, which means I might as well just bet pot and get every draw out. And it's like if we're beat, we're beat. And that's kind of how I feel. Yeah. So I mean, I think anything lower than half pot would be bad, but I think half pot is fine. But I would also just bomb it, to be honest. Yeah. So, I mean, it would have been a nice fat pot if he didn't hit his 4-outer, so that's just too bad. But, that's poker. That's how it goes. Oops. So, pocket jacks.
Alright, so this hand, I take down before the like we don't make it to showdown, but I don't like with jacks. I don't know how to get value out of them. So my main question is like, how can I play this the way this like plays out? Like I feel like I missed a bunch of spots for value. Like yeah, so that's what this hand. I said this hand for.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the thing about it is like, this is why I'm trying to get you to think how I think, because pocket jacks, like, people have these ideas of like pocket jacks are hard to play, or aces are easy to play, or twos are hard to play. Which is like, that's like a fine starter, like novice way to think about things. But as you get better at poker, you're always just thinking in terms of like equity, strength, like hand strength, and like more like, I guess, like probability. And it's not so much, so it's like in terms of, it's not like how do I get value out of jacks, it's like how do I get value out of this overpair, or how do I get value out of, okay, so jacks here. So I don't know. We'll just go through the hand, and then I'll talk more about that after. So he 3-bets. What do we know about this guy? Anything?
No, not yet. I think this is not long after that polyglot guy left the table and this guy came in. So.
Okay. That doesn't. Yeah, that doesn't.
So like, he's kind of new. Don't have very much information on him.
Okay, I guess that is relevant, because if he's new, he's probably not 3-betting light. That's just, which is not something I expect you to like know off the top of your head. But generally speaking, people don't come into a table and just start firing off 3-bets, no problem, unless they think you're firing off like opens, no problem. So that's just like a general like thing you gain with knowledge in poker. It's just like, people don't just start off aggressive. So I would give him credit. If me and him haven't played any pots yet, I would say he's probably got a decent hand. So I think, let me think in terms of calling. I think calling is fine. I don't love playing jacks out of position, like in this kind of spot, but I don't know if there's, when we just don't have any information, I don't know if 4-betting makes sense, and I don't think folding makes sense, because he could definitely be 3-betting something like pocket nines, ace 10 suited, king queen. So he could be 3-betting all of these hands, which is another reason why we would just love to have some poker tracker information.
Well, hopefully we will after this week.
Yeah. So it goes check on the flop. What do you think what range are you putting him on when he checks?
Well, when after the flop, I'm thinking mostly pairs or higher cards are going to be 3-betting. So I could definitely see a king in his range, but when he checks, maybe he's got like ace queen, ace jack. Maybe he has some kind of pair that didn't, because I don't really see anything made. Like, I don't see him hitting the flop and checking in position.
Right.
So I think he still has like maybe some strong hole cards, but that it maybe missed the board is what I'm seeing.
I think that's a fair analysis, but my only possible disagreement is that ace queen, most people are c-betting a king high flop because you don't have that many kings in your range, and they have all ace kings in their range. So if I have ace queen and I think you might fold, like I think most people are c-betting ace queen here. Not all, but a good amount of people who are willing to 3-bet ace queen are also going to be c-betting the flop. So if he doesn't c-bet, I think he has queens or tens or nines, maybe ace queen, maybe ace jack of like clubs, spades, or no, he doesn't have ace. He wouldn't have ace jack of diamonds, obviously, but he could have hands like suited aces of spades, clubs, or diamonds, and he's trying to turn a flush draw or something. But yeah, I really think he has like, it feels like exactly pocket tens That's like my best guess, or nines. And he bets half pot. So what do you think?
Um, so it went check, check, and then I check again. So I'm thinking this could be, uh, really any hand bluffing could be bluffing here. Um, maybe he had like a weaker king, like a king 10, which I don't know if that probably would have bet the flop though. So
Maybe not. Maybe not. I mean, if he just 3-bet you, hoping you'd fold pre-flop, and then he hits his king, which is king 10. I think like controlling pot is like okay. So I think king 10 is possible here. But in terms of like what you're saying, like stabbing, I think that's kind of like a possibility for sure. I am slightly worried about suited connector hands like 7-8 now. It seems unlikely, but it is possible that he's got some middling cards that might have connected with that turn. I'm still putting him on. Okay, well now it also seems like he could have 8s or 9s specifically. Okay, well obviously we love to see the river. And then oh wait, what happened there?
So, yeah, like I fired and then he folded. That's where I'm like, I didn't know where to get value out, so I was trying to just make a larger river bet which is probably I doubt he had kings there. So I mean,
sure.
Which is the nuts. So I didn't know where to get value. Should I be betting small there? Should I bet big to potentially have anything call it off? Or
right. Let's see. If I'm in your spot, what do I do? I guess we have to decide how often we think he's bluffing. So here's what I would do. I would either check and hope he bluffs, or bet at most half pot. And so a common theme for like people at your level is to like bet big and just hope you get called. You're like, I just hope I get value. But again, this goes back to the other hand where I was saying like, well, what hands are we hoping he has? That makes sense. So, and then furthermore, do those hands call based on our bet sizing? So it's like, okay, so let's say top of his range is probably like king 10 or pocket 7s. That's like that's the very top of his range, which is not many hands. Or king, no, that's it. Like kings, king 10-ish, and then like pocket 7s are the absolute top of his range. But other than that, he's got like no good hands based on how he's played it.
Right.
So given that there's only like 2 hands he could call with, betting 3/4 pot or 2/3 pot or whatever is just like, it doesn't make sense because he's got so few good hands that can call, right? That makes sense?
Yeah, so there's no way he's calling, so I'm missing out on any potential value I had anyway. So.
Right. So then can you tell me like a different bet sizing that might make sense, and tell me why?
Maybe like a 1/4 pot or a 1/3 pot, like a small pot bet, like a thin value bet to try to get called off with maybe the king 10, or maybe get raised as a bluff. So if I bet like a 1/4, or like let's say a 1/3 pot, and he then not jams, but
like thinks you're weak.
Yeah.
I agree with those. Yeah.
I guess maybe the check, then hopefully he would bet, but that's kind of hoping that he would bet the river.
Yeah, but it's true, but even though it sucks to check a set and just like, he's probably you're not getting any value, it sucks. But at the same time, we have to go with what's going to make us the most money, generally speaking. So our hand is so nutted, it sucks that we have to check it, but like we have to think about what he has. It's like, what does he have? It's like, considering he played the way he did, he probably just has air. And so if we value bet based on the fact that he has air, it's pointless. So even though, again, it sucks to check a set, but knowing that's probably going to go check, but it's still more likely that he bluffs than he calls.
Then I guess I could re-raise. So if he bluffs for,
Oh yeah.
say he bluffs for a 2/3 pot, then I could re-raise to 3x.
Well, so I agree with your logic, but in terms of sizing, I would click it back for min raise because he probably doesn't have much here. Because even though so that would just be you being greedy to repop it really big because he probably still doesn't have anything. So he still has a very like weak range. So in the event that he has king 10, maybe he'll just like convince himself to call a click, a min raise. You know what I mean? But like he never has like nutted hands here. So I would like, if he does do that, I would just min raise for value.
Just to potentially get more value rather than
get that king 10.
I guess he's only calling with pocket sevens if I were to really big.
Well, that's my point, is that maybe king 10 calls a min raise and he talks himself into it. He's like, oh fuck, like it's so cheap. You could hope that king 10 calls here, but king 10 is never calling a massive raise is my only point. Even king queen that played really passively might. So anyway, you get the point, that we shouldn't be bet. Like, this is just another bad river bet. We should never just be betting 3/4 here. So, because we're only going to get called by pocket sevens and pocket kings. So, and then the very rare king jack, but king 10 is probably not calling this. So, and that's like the best case scenario is that he had king 10. So, okay.
So that answers the question on that one.
Yeah. Anything else you're wondering?
I think that's the last hand, right?
Yeah.
I think that's good. I mean, obviously I struggle with like getting value in those spots a lot. I get tripped up a lot on where if I have a solid hand and they like I don't know where they're at specifically, like how to get the correct value out of.
Right. That's why it's a game of skill. It takes a long time to figure these things out. I don't expect you to know that right away. All you can do right now is just like ask me, and then you'll think about it, and you'll slowly your mind will slowly shift into the right direction. But I think you're doing a lot of things right. You're doing a lot of things right. It's just like going to be keep refining and like keep getting better at analyzing ranges, which in order to do that, I think this is the advice I gave you on the first time we had a call, but you just want to play not too many tables. Like, I don't know are you just playing one table at a time right now on your phone?
Sometimes I play 2, but no more than 2 ever.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Because what's going to help you improve quickly is just getting volume in, but also like very deliberate volume. So like doing your best to think through ranges slowly and like methodically, which it's going to come with time, but also like it has to be deliberate effort. I think that's where a lot of people just like suck at improving. Not you specifically, but just in general, people don't use the mental bandwidth or whatever to like try to think how you should think. So just try to like think when you're in these tough spots. You just like try to think back to our conversations and like, well, how would Kramer think about this, right? Because it's usually a lot different than how you think about it, and it's just like try to like channel that energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, if you don't have any more questions, I guess that's it for today.
Yeah, man. Sweet. Yeah, you said, like when we originally discussed, you said that it would be 4 sessions. So,
right.
How do you want to go? Do you want to move forward? Do you want to?
Yeah, well, yeah. So, I mean, I guess we can just talk about it. So, like, haven't like laid out like pricing or anything for my sessions. I haven't like tried to sell anybody anything, so I don't really know. Well, I guess I should ask you, like, as someone in your position, just like a micros grinder trying to get better, what do you think is like a good value for coaching sessions? Like, what is something that you think is like worth your money? Just be completely honest. If it's $10 or if it's like, would you be willing to pay 20, 25? Like, just completely honest.
Like whenever I tutor, like, because I tutor people for math,
Right.
like usually I don't charge, unless I know the person, any less than $25 an hour.
Right.
And that's for math. So for this, it's much more niche and specific. So like,
And it's also money involved.
I could see you charging like between 25 and 50 easily. Maybe when there's more, like when you've done it more, maybe higher, or you know. But
well, okay. Well, thank you for the answer. Like I said, I haven't charged anybody. I haven't asked anybody to pay me or anything. Like the other guy that I was coaching, he got caught up in other stuff, so we dropped his. So it's like, you're the only person I'm working with right now, and I also don't have like a huge demand or anything. So I mean, that's just being completely, open and honest with you. It's like, this is like my first real business, so I don't really. But okay, so. All right, well. So what I was thinking, I mean, I set up pricing. Let me see what I put it at. I think I put it at like.
Yeah, I also have no idea what normal poker pricing is to start.
Right.
So like, my only knowledge is like what I charge for math tutoring.
Right,
so.
right. Oh man, I can't pull up my pricing. I forgot where it is. But what I was thinking is like, package discounts. So it's like probably like base 20 or 25. I think that's what I was thinking. And then like, you buy 4, you get them at like 17 an hour, and then you buy 8 and you get them at like 15 an hour or something like that.
That sounds super reasonable to me. Like as a consumer, that sounds like a super reasonable price for coaching, especially for me. Like, I'm not, like, if I were to go to someone like, like the pros are like $400 an hour.
Oh,
yeah. Like, I feel like that's a very reasonable price for what the level I'm able to even absorb.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I legitimately really appreciate your input, because like I said, I haven't really talked to anyone about this, so I guess, okay, so I'll like roll with that. I'll probably just do base, like I'll have some sort of discount structure set up, and I guess I'll just send you like a link or whatever, and you can buy whatever you want. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, I'm gonna like free roll myself, but I like tutoring you. I like to get better at what I'm doing. I want to be a better coach. So it's like, even if it's really gonna be up to you. Like, to be honest, I'll probably tutor you for free, but like, also, like, obviously I would appreciate if you paid. So it's like,
well, yeah, I would like to. I appreciate, like, I feel like I'm definitely getting value out. Like, I can feel my game increasing. For me, the only thing is, like, I'm a broke college kid, so like, I would be totally down to pay for lessons and stuff, but I don't know if I would be able to afford every single week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like me as an individual, but as far as like, I would pay, but
yeah,
because I definitely think it's worth it.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah. So again, I appreciate it. I'll send you a link, and I think this is fair, since I don't know how much value you feel like you've given me, but because you like reached out to me, and I think that's very valuable to me, and like, you're helping me develop my brand and everything, and I get a lot of value out of that. So I would be comfortable giving you like a discounted rate, and I think that would be like a nice middle ground.
Yeah, like, whatever you view as fair, as long as I can afford it, I'm totally down to roll with that. So
Okay.
yeah, just work out your numbers and let me know. And I definitely yeah, I can feel that I feel like I'm getting value out of coaching. So
Great. Yeah, I mean, that's ultimately like why I kind of like started this brand is because, I mean, the idea would be for me to quit my job and just be like a poker coach for now, and like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's like if you can listen to what I have to say and I can make you more money, it's like it should be a very like easy decision to buy coaching. So, but okay, man, I'll put something together and I'll send you a link.
all right, oh yeah, just let me know.
All right, cool. I guess we'll yeah, I'll email you.
All right, well
All right.
sweet. Well, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem. And we'll talk to you later.
Have a nice
All right.
one. It's so awkward getting off.
All right, bro. See you soon.
See you, man.